Islands of Adventure is one of my favorite theme parks I have ever visited, and it kind of breaks my heart that I live on the other side of the country from this amazing place. Unfortunately, I've only ever spent 2 days at Islands of Adventure, but I've been on over 10 of their attractions, so in today's video, we are going to rank them up. Before we get started, please like this video, please leave a comment down below, let me know how you rank the attractions of Islands of Adventure, I would love to know. And of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. At the time of this recording, we are pushing for 20,000 subscribers, so I would love to hit that goal before the end of the year. It would mean a lot if you helped us reach it. And one more thing, if you click the link in the description, I would greatly appreciate if you gave my Instagram account a follow. Thank you so much, everybody. Before we dig into the actual list, I want to go over the rides at Islands of Adventure that I have not ridden. In Marvel Superhero Island, I have not ridden Storm Force, Accelatron, or Doctor Doom's Fearfall. Fearfall looks like a pretty basic SNS drop tower, not unlike some rides I've done before, but I totally would have done it if it wasn't closed the last time I visited this park. Of course, in Jurassic Park, I have not been on Pteranodon Flyers. That's like the white whale for a lot of coaster enthusiasts, including me, so hopefully I can get that credit one day, but who's to say. And then finally, in the park's kids area, Seuss Landing. I have not been on the carousel. I have not been on the park's Dumbo ride, One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, and I have not been on High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train ride. Aside from Pteranodon Flyers, I think that is the ride that I would want to ride the most out of all of them on this list. Hopefully I can get back to Islands of Adventure sooner rather than later to experience these attractions. Just for fun, this is how I would guess that I would rank the 6 that I haven't been on. But let's move on to the actual list. Starting things off with number 11, funny enough, is a roller coaster smaller than Pteranodon Flyers. It is Flight of the Hippogriff. So this existed in the park before the Wizarding World of Harry Potter did, and obviously they kept it for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter with a few small rethemes. Overall, it's a fine kiddie coaster with an absolutely amazing view of Hogwarts. It is very, very cool. Overall, I think the version in Hollywood is a little bit better, but this is still a fun attraction. But I've done it once, and this is such an incredible park that I don't think I'll ever do it again. Moving on to number 10, the only attraction that I have personally experienced within Seuss Landing is Cat in the Hat. This dark ride is pretty interesting. I thought it was a little charming. I actually rode it with my mom, and she thought it was the opposite. She thought it was very creepy, which like I could understand. Like some of these animatronics, it's clear that they are not taking care of them at all. Like some of the fishes look a little unsettling to say the least. But I think it's charming that you ride on a couch. Like that's the ride vehicle. Something that I thought was funny is that the way that this ride is laid out kind of reminded me of a Scary Farm or Horror Nights maze, because the walls don't go all the way up to the ceiling, so you can look up and see that you're in a massive like warehouse or a massive show building. So that's kind of amusing. It might be unintentionally creepy at some points, but at other points I think it's charming. So it could definitely use more love. This ride is in desperate need of a refurb, but I'm not sure if Universal is ever going to invest in that. Moving on to number 9 is the only ride within its land. It is Skull Island Reign of Kong. So Universal Orlando Resort has a few like attractions that just became their own rides within these parks, and Reign of Kong is one of them. So I experienced it on the studio tour at Universal Studios Hollywood before I experienced this ride. Overall, it's not that impressive. Like meat and potatoes of this ride experience is that show scene that you can experience at Universal Hollywood with the screens, so it's not terribly impressive. I do appreciate that they replaced the ride vehicles. Obviously, it would not make sense if the studio tram tour from Hollywood appeared on the screen for that moment where your ride vehicle is like supposed to be falling off of a cliff. The facade for the attraction is actually very cool, but you can like see that from off-ride. It was like a surprisingly rough ride with no restraint. Like I didn't think it was that far off from something like Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom or Indiana Jones at Disneyland, where it was just kind of tossing you around. And I didn't know that there were some physical sets before you got into the screen after you entered the facade. So like seeing those bats, and I think that first screen was a bit of a surprise for me. I did know about the massive Kong animatronic at the end, and of course that is the highlight of the ride experience. It like makes the whole thing. But honestly, we waited way too long for this ride. I think it's worth like a 10-15 minute wait at max. Like, it's a cool experience, but I imagine aside from seeing that really massive animatronic at the end again, it's just not worth it, which is why it ranks towards the bottom of the list. I also find it amusing that it kind of fits the aesthetic of Jurassic Park, but obviously because it's not Jurassic Park, it's in its own land, but the land is just the ride. Like, there's nothing else to Skull Island other than this attraction. Moving on to number 8, we're gonna start digging into Islands of Adventure's water rides, starting with Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. To be clear, I really like this attraction. I think it is very, very fun, but this park is just absolutely stacked. It has inline seating, a lot like Disneyland's Splash Mountain, which of course is now Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So that made me kind of nostalgic. The frustrating aspect about it is that these logs have restraints for some reason, and like inline seated logs are already cramped as they are, so adding a restraint on top of it, you have like no room to breathe. Like, the dude in front of me was not in my party, and he put his like merch bag on my leg, and I was just like, bro, what are you doing? I don't want to hold your merch with my leg. So that was kind of annoying. But like, I can't really blame him either, because there's no room to breathe or to put anything. So I just had this dude's bag on my leg for the entire ride, and I've only ever been on this ride once. I do appreciate the references to Mr. Toad. There's imagery from Snow White's Scary Adventures, which I also appreciate. References to Fantasyland dark rides. I have no connection to any of the characters within Toon Lagoon, and that includes Dudley Do-Right. But I can always appreciate a fun log flume. I just don't think I like it as much as a lot of people do. Like, I would probably take Timber Mountain Log Ride at Knott's over this ride. I would definitely take Tiana's and Splash over this ride, but that's just my opinion. I do like that this attraction has 3 distinct drops. 2 of them have that like little bunny hill after the drop. So like, the coaster enthusiasts are like, is it a roller coaster? Because it goes over a hill. But then like, I would counter with, does that make Splash Mountain at Disneyland, or Tiana's at Disneyland, or Tiana's at Magic Kingdom a roller coaster? Because they both have that upward motion as well. Like, I personally don't count this ride as a coaster. I don't count either of the Tiana's as coasters either. So that's my take on it. Moving on to number 7, the other ride within Toon Lagoon is Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges. These are actually really, really fun. It is a soaking ride experience. It's pretty well themed. There's so many charming sets, really aggressive rapids. It's not my personal favorite raft ride that I've ever been on, but it's still a very fun experience. I would totally be down to do it again. Raft rides are always best when you're with a group of friends and it's like that Russian roulette game of who's gonna get splashed. And there are plenty of splashes to go around for this attraction. I also like the lift hill, how it gets pretty close to another ride that'll be towards the top of this list that I love looking up at. And there's a bunch of sprayers on the lift hill as well. And I do appreciate how the lift hill is not like the end of the raft ride, like how it is for a good chunk of these attractions around the world. Moving on to number 6. In my opinion, there's a big jump in quality between number 7 and number 6. We're going to talk about Jurassic Park River Adventure. This is a really, really, really cool ride. I think I personally prefer Jurassic World at Universal Studios Hollywood, but this is still an absolutely incredible ride. I do appreciate how there's no screens in that opening scene. It's still open and you can see physical animatronics, even though these animatronics could use some love, to say the least. That opening scene really just has that one, so I feel like they could add a few more in there. I know they added a couple animatronics to Jurassic World, so hopefully they can come back to this ride and do the same. I believe it's getting a refurb, either now or relatively soon, and I believe it's staying as Jurassic Park. So I do appreciate that. I appreciate that the coasts are different. That being said though, I can't talk about this ride without talking about the finale. Like, the T-Rex is still really cool. When I first rode it, I had not experienced Jurassic World yet, so after I went back to Hollywood and I experienced Jurassic World, and that finale is like so much more cinematic, so much more intense with those 2 massive animatronic figures. Going back to this ride for my second ride, I was worried that I would find the finale underwhelming, but I didn't think that that was the case. I thought it was still very cool, but when you put them side by side, it's clear which one is better. But this one, within the moment, is still very, very cool. I don't think they're gonna invest the money to make the finale as cool as the one in Hollywood is. But as it stands, it's still a fun moment. And of course, you have that awesome drop, which is so cool. I also appreciate that there's like water effects on the left and the right. Even though there's not that massive animatronic figure that walks out, there's still something interesting to look at. So overall, I'm a pretty big fan of River Adventure. And it's kind of insane that a ride this good is only at number 6. But moving on to number 5, we're going to talk about the Incredible Hulk coaster. Oh my goodness, this thing is stupid intense. It's insane. I rode it twice in 2025, and I rode it once in 2021. In 2021, I kind of screwed this ride over. I rode this ride before I rode the top 2 coasters in the park that we're going to talk about later, but I saw the big one testing while I was on Incredible Hulk for the first time. So I could not pay attention to the ride experience at all. I was like, get me off this ride. I need to go to Jurassic Park. And that was my only experience on Hulk. So when I went back to this park in 2025, I wanted to make sure I gave this ride a fair shot. And it's an intensity machine. I rode it in row 2, and in the back, I got the left edge and the right edge because I wanted to feel as much force as possible. Front row had a really long line, so I was fine settling for row 2. That launch out of the tunnel is really fun. You get some good speed going, and then that 0G roll coming out of the tunnel is insanely whippy. It's unreal how many awesome inversions Universal Orlando Resort has. It's like actually crazy. And this is the one on Hulk that is like the standout invert. But after that, you're gonna rip through a Cobra roll. You're gonna rip through a vertical loop. They're both stupid intense gray out moments. I think I was like dehydrated and probably like underfed at the time. After my second ride on Hulk, I was like, I can't do it again. Like, it's like physically too much for me. But I was probably drained after hours of walking around in the Florida humidity as well, because I am just a fragile Californian. But I can really respect the first half of this ride. There's a corkscrew that dives down into another vertical loop that wraps around the mid-course brake run. I really love when roller coasters interlock with their own loops like that. But that being said, those 2 inversions aren't really the most standout. And then the second half is kind of just generic B&M. Like, the second half basically just turns into the second half of Rougarou. So the first half is absolutely where this roller coaster shines. One thing I have to say is that I think the on-ride audio is a little too quiet. Like, you can hear it when you hit the brakes, but like during the physical ride, I don't remember hearing it that well. And also, like, I feel like it's not in sync with the ride experience. Like, the music is still going full force when you hit the brake run, and it doesn't end on time, I feel like, but that's just my opinion. I also look back at the onboard audio for California Screamin', and that like fits the ride like a glove. Like, it's so perfect, and I miss it so much, but don't get me started on that. And Disneyland Space Mountain, that's another perfect example of fantastic on-ride audio that matches the layout of the roller coaster perfectly. But moving on to number 4, I feel really bad ranking this ride so low. It is The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. To be clear, this is an absolutely fantastic dark ride. I love it so much. It is so cool. I love the pumpkin bomb effect where there's like real fire getting launched out at you. There's so many fun little character moments. When you see Spider-Man for the first time, he's like nice shades, and of course you're wearing 3D glasses. During the Hydro Man scene, you get like absolutely showered in water, which was like, kind of like comical, but I wasn't complaining because Florida humidity. And my favorite effect on the ride is when you get hit by the gravity ray by Doc Ock and you start floating, and it looks like you're actually going up because the buildings are going down, and then you see Spider-Man. But my least favorite aspect of this attraction is that final battle within mid-air. Like, up to that point, I felt like the attraction does a really good job of keeping you grounded in the action. Like, there's this comic book coming to life in front of you, but it feels like you're really there. And then you, like, the physical floating up effect is so cool, but I wish you kind of came down immediately. Because the final battle, just floating in air, it's just kind of like, I don't even know what's happening. And just switching from screen to screen, it kind of loses that perfect transition, that perfect momentum and pacing that the ride had possessed up to that point. So I really think Spider-Man fumbles on the finale, but other than that, it's an absolutely unreal ride, and I would absolutely love to ride it again. But I personally prefer number 3, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. These top 2 dark rides are both unreal. They could be number 1 at many other parks around the world. Both of them. Forbidden Journey is literally the best ride at Universal Studios Hollywood. Pre-Hollywood Drift, at least. It is so cool. I love the ride system. I don't get nauseous, thank God. I know a lot of people get nauseous on this ride, so not fun at all. I actually rode this version of the attraction before I rode the version in Hollywood. There's so many cool set pieces with the dragon and the bridge. And then, of course, all the Dementors. They get really close to you. I remember the first time I rode this, I had no idea they were there. So it kind of freaked me out how close they get to you. But it's such a cool effect. There's just so much Harry Potter action going on. Of course, the biggest flaw with the ride experience is the screen carousels. I would obviously much prefer if the entire thing was fully set designed, but the highs of this attraction are so good. Like the Whomping Willow set piece is absolutely unreal. It's by far my favorite part of this attraction. It is so cool. And in my opinion, it is very re-rideable and very fun. But it is not the best ride in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, because that goes to number 2, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, trademark Universal Studios Orlando Resort in Orlando, Florida. Despite the comically long name, this attraction is like the full package. It has anything you could ever want from a ride experience. The drop track is a very fun surprise. You get great airtime. Going backwards is so cool. There's like real animatronics. This ride has 7 launches, which is absolutely insane. I can't believe that the side-by-side, the motorbike and the sidecar have different restraints. That's insane. I can't think of another ride that has different restraints depending upon if you sit in the left seat or the right seat. Like, that's actually crazy. Both of them work really well. I love grabbing the motorbike handlebars. It's so cool. I was very fortunate. I was able to experience this ride in the front row in 2021. That was an unreal ride experience. So fun. It's such an amazing roller coaster. It's one of Universal's masterpieces, and it completely deserves the insane wait times that it is pulling. But because I'm a roller coaster enthusiast, number 1 is of course Velocicoaster. There is so much to say about this ride. There's no way that I can do it justice in this video. There's so many awesome moments. I love all of the inversions. You know you have a good ride when the worst inversion on the attraction is the stall. Like, that's crazy. The airtime is ridiculous. I love the oscillating helix. The top hat is insane. The Mosasaurus roll is bonkers. It's one of my favorite inversions I've ever experienced. I've done it in the front. I've done it in the back. This ride is incredible. The theming in the first half is unreal, and it 100% deserves its own review video. Lots of these attractions deserve their own review videos, and I'm going to start cooking those up as soon as I can. I'm still working on Epic Universe content, to be honest. It's insane. I think that this is my first video about Islands of Adventure. It's crazy that it took me this long to make a video about this park because I love it so much. Islands of Adventure is incredible, and I am absolutely dying to go back. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for listening. Please like this video, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think of my rankings, I would love to hear, and of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much everybody, and I will catch you later.